Well, today we got a horse that's a little bit familiar that we've done before. We got old Tino boy here, and he is freaking tall. He is a tall, tall man. He's a good boy though. Yeah, see how much taller he is than I am? He's got pretty dang good big feet too, so we'll shoe his hind feet again and show you that process. Got a little bit of rain finally, but his feet are a little dirty. But he is in need. Pretty sure he needs new hind shoes today as well. Alright, start by pulling the shoe off here. Maybe this little bit of rain here actually softened the feet up just a tickle. Not likely, because we literally just started getting rain like 45 minutes ago. Yeah, oh, Tino boy, he's a bit of an older horse. Do have a video a few months ago that I did him. And actually, I think is when I made these shoes for him. So you can go check that one out. 17 hand Warmblood. And he's actually kind of an older boy. I think he's like 22, 23, 20, maybe 18. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have to go look through the messages again and see what the owner had told me. I've shod Tino now for like 6 years. At the moment, he's actually the largest feet I have to shoe or trim on my books. Alright, let's start by trimming the frog up. I'm going to just start by getting the tags off. The obvious areas to trim. Hey, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So right now I'm just kind of, firstly I started by getting the tags off. Tags meaning the excess frog that's just kind of hanging off there. And now I'm just trying to trim it up and give it some sort of symmetry. Now we'll just start kind of trimming up some of the sole. So by doing so, I'm going to try to enhance the bars here. So these are almost going to be like the last thing I touch. So I'm going to get rid of everything else here. Hopefully it doesn't just flake out on me because it's dry. So I'm just going to take a little bit right there. Now I'm just going to continue to get my sole depth on how much to trim out of here. And at the same time, I'm wanting to leave this sole plane as smooth as possible. I'm not trying to dig my knife in and make big scallop marks. So now I'm just this bar here is longer than this one, and I'm not going to be able to get that one any longer than it is just because it chipped off and broke off there, exfoliated. So I'm going to try to match this one to that one. So at the same time I haven't, now I'm starting to trim the top of it. It can be hard because you got to be very precise when doing so. I'm just going to take a little bit off the top here to give some definition in one plane. Easy does her. It's hard to trim up bars and make them look really nice. Just need to clean the tip of my frog up here just a tiny bit. Alright, now we can trim off some of this length at the toe. Trying to, when I move my nippers back, I'm only trying to move it so I'm getting like half a bite with my nippers. And by half a bite, I mean I'm moving it over just halfway, so only half of it is trimming like new foot. Instead of taking one whole bite, and then you can get these kind of peaks and valleys through the hoof wall. So now I'll just relieve some of this sole pressure. This bar can be using a little bit of cleaning up here. Let's see if I can use my left-handed knife here to carve up this one a little bit. Yeah. Alright, now let's sight it for level. I think my frog can use just a tiny little bit there. I think I got more toe that needs to come off this foot, so pull my stand out of here. I'm gonna look down it. Easy, bud. I know I've been good so far holding up your foot this long. Now I'm just sighting it for balance to know where I need to take more foot off. Gonna nip a little bit more toe here. So the way I'm trimming this, I'm taking a little bit extra time. One, for the video purposes, for the YouTube audience, but also kind of in prep for some contests. Some good friends of mine and we've got a group chat between 5 of us, and what we do on a daily basis is we send each other pictures of feet that we're trimming every day. Feet that we're trimming and we're shoeing. So I'm just trying to take some time to practice doing really nice hoof prep. So when I'm rasping my foot, I am starting at the high spots and blending them in with the low spots, essentially. Now I'm just trying to put a nice shape into it. Something that's easy to fit, or easier to fit, but also what the white line and hoof wall are telling me as far as where I need to gather it up. You can kind of see that these quarters here, they're, bring it a little bit square. These quarters aren't necessarily straight across from each other. This one here is back some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rasping here and pull it back this way to try and push that quarter up. We'll get rid of some more of the sole pressure here. Okay, now let's see if we can get this. See the corn's cleaned out a little better. Trying to make this foot appear like it has a ton of depth. And by depth I mean like concavity, where the sole scoops in that way. This right here is kind of ugly looking right now. Alright, I'll give you a little break. Slide it. Nose is ready. What else is new? Easy, bud. I know. I'm almost done. I promise. I promise you, I'm almost done. Just gotta get this frog. Finished trimming up this frog. This knife here is not really wanting me to do it. She's starting to dull on me. All right. Pretty happy with the way that is coming out now. So now we'll check our width measurement so we know what to shape it to. 6 1/4. It's pretty big. So 6 1/4 by 6 1/2. It's a pretty good size foot. All right, now we'll trim our other foot. We'll start with the obvious, the big tag that's trying to exfoliate there on the frog. Yeah, when I trim frogs, I use a left-handed knife for this side, and then I have one knife that's just dedicated to going down this other side of the frog. So same thing, I'm going to start with kind of the obvious big rim here. Adjust ya. There you go. Start with this big rim. It's kind of the same thing here. I want to try to enhance this foot the best I can and trim it the best I can. And usually the best way to do that is start with the high spots and blend them into the low spots. Try not to make the low spots any lower than they naturally already are. And kind of a general rule of thumb, like if you're at a contest or even a certification, is If you touch it, you own it, meaning like if you touch it with your knife or rasp, you then own it to the point you have trimmed that foot that way, and not that the foot was that way when you started. So there's 3 things we can do when we're shoeing horses when we actually go out and do the work. You can either 1, get better, 2, get worse, or 3, stay the same. So usually the main thing we want to try to do is make it get better. These bars are going to trim up pretty nice. Mostly because they're not chipping away and chunking out of there. Yeah, with his hind feet, he's actually got a kind of a mild case, I guess you could call it, of high-low. So the other foot measures 6 1/4 wide. And I bet this one here is only like 6. Maybe 5 3/4. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, 6 1/8. Alright, I need to get up this inside of this frog again.
Hey.
Hi, Carrie.
How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I'm glad it finally is raining.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're going to create some more smoke, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm used to this smoke, but
Yeah, right?
living in a bonfire for a week is not ideal.
Oh my gosh, it smelled like cigarettes here.
Yeah.
No, I kept telling everyone like we're in a casino.
Right?
That's what it smelled like to me. Like a really gross casino.
Oh, that's something to do with the hind end or what? Yeah. She's been having issues with that in like a suspensory cycle on the left hind. Yeah, I was surprised to do that. But maybe for his best. Yeah. Alright, now let's top these bars. Now we go inside of them. I like that. Oh, really? Just trying to sculpt this bar up as best as I can here. It's nice, it's actually really stout bars. Now to try to make them look like they're terminating naturally. This knife that Brian Strelo made is freaking sick. I love it. It gets so sharp. So I'm just going to kind of clean up in here a little bit. Alright, now we're just going to sight it here real quick. And then we got a little bit more to nip off. Now let's rasp it up flat. I'm just gathering it up here. Kind of the same thing as quarters are a little mismatched, so I'm going to try to make this one here come. I'm going to try to push this one forward just a little bit. Now we can get in here a little bit better. That's not what I want to happen. Sometimes it seems like you can just keep going forever and ever. Sweet. Now let's measure it. Yeah, this one here is like 5 15/16, but we're gonna call it 6. Now we're gonna get some new shoes made up for old Tino boy. Well, thank you everybody for watching this episode of Pacific Northwest Farrier Show. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you like it even more, you can subscribe. Something else I haven't mentioned is we have a podcast called Forging Brains Podcast, so you can actually go check that out on YouTube, Forging Brains Podcast, or you can listen to it on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So we have video version, so you can watch us, conversate and talk between our guests, and then we also just have where you can just listen to it on Apple as well. So we'll see you at the next one. Thank you.